Yeah, that's right. That's Mathmech Runick. I wish I didn't actually understand that. We also have For Hire Runick. What is up with all of these Runick variations? Don't be like 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-loving crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. We have your breakdown for the Philly Regional 500 Duelist out here. Stepping up to the plate now, you're going to see two Mathmech decks on this pie chart grouped up. One of those is the Mathmech Runick deck. Another one is regular Mathmech. There are three Runick decks in this top cut, but I'm breaking them apart and specializing them in their own departments. So you also had Naturia Runick, and you also had For Hire Runick. What do you want me to do about it? Technically, you had three Runick decks. You also had one Kashtira, not too surprised about that. Sword Soul, good old reliable. We also had, we had two Sword Soul. That's actually pretty understandable. I like the fact that Sword Soul here has been a very good, steady competitor out of the metagame here, showcasing that, you know, you can still do a lot of things. And then good old Trap Tricks here, still doing its thing. Your top cut for this event is very, very, very diverse, and that's what you like to see for this. We're going to pass on over to the deck list. All right, the first list we're going to be looking at here is Cash Money Dollar Bills. Even still to this day, this deck, you know, managed to make its way all the way to top cut here. You love to see it. You have double evenly matched here for the power of disrupting the opponent. Man, I love this card so much. Defensive options, you got the lances, you have the books, and we're actually packing in some lava golems in here. Not really been something too crazy that we've seen. I've seen a lot of these variants actually just kick this out and not even worry about it. And we're actually playing the one-tier elements Kashtira. A lot of these other variants have opted to cut this out as well. So we're maintaining a lot of the same standard stuff that we're pretty used to seeing in these Kashtira variants. One preparation with the one ogre has become very norm here. And we are playing the Thrust into the Talents, aka Or Search My Evenlies. And shout out to Dimension Shifter here, actually getting a nice little comeback here as well for the block. You are showcasing a lot of pretty good power here for what you can really expect out of this set. So I like what we're seeing here. Good stuff. Next up here we have, oh, good old Reliable, honestly. I'll be honest with you, in terms of what Sword Soul brings to the table here, I think there's a lot of consideration for how much of this deck feels very cookie cutter. The double book, the double chalice, the double evenly, quite common here. I like that. Playing the one Synthana, and then we're playing the triple copies of the Divine Carnate. This card has been, there's a lot of split opinions on this, honestly. I think that the card is very, very solid for what it does. I just don't think a lot of people can really bait it and get it pulled off correctly. I think those are some of the biggest issues that we see with the Divine Carnate, but it's not to say that it hasn't been a terrible card. And, of course, anti-skill fragrance here, detouring your opponent to make sure that you still are going to get the best mileage here. This card is so good. Like, I can tell you the amount of times your opponent's going to get anti-scammed and they're going to be like, really? Yeah. It's that good. Next up here we have our Naturia Runick deck. And I mean, all real things considered. I mean, your Naturia package, very, very standard. You play the one little sunflower, one Kelbeck has been absolutely fine. You play the double fountain. Remember, OCG just put this to less numbers. Alright. Not to say that it's not optimal to play 3, but not in this build. We're also playing triple copies of the Naturia Sacred Tree. There's our triple copies of the Divine Carnate. And then, of course, we have a Bysteel package in here as well. So very, very strong presence on the Bysteel numbers. Actually makes sense at the end of the day. Well, the amount of pressure that you can put on your opponent with these is very, very good. I really do like that. The rest of the package feels... I like what we're seeing. The problem with this deck is it's so very straightforward that you don't get a lot of like room to really try things out, unfortunately. Next up here is our first Mathmech deck. Sporting off the power of Book of Moons for defensive options, Space Rocks to paralyze and laugh at the opponent. We're playing one Denko Sekka. Not like you can't bridge the gap to get this. Triple copies of Lava Golem, which is fine. For disruption, same thing with the Ghost Spells. And we're main decking a Kaiju. You know, I do like the idea of having Kaijus in this deck. I think that this does put some pressure on the opponent to maybe make like semi-better plays. But this is really something to consider out here at the end of the day, just how much pressure you know, being able to see this, you know, can I waste a search on this? You got a lot of, once again, decisions to make when it comes down to the intricacies of deck building for this that really you're going to have to answer on the fly based on the opening hands and so forth. But an inclusion of this actually works out. Next up here we have, for higher Runick, you know, it's coming to my attention that you can play any sort of stable package in this deck. This one, I mean, obviously the value you get for beat is really good. Actual negates here. That's beautiful. Same thing here with a good old seal. You don't really tend to see these two come down all that much. I do like Raphael here as an option tree. Obviously, like, your Runick cards are going to be your main things. Actually playing Fossil Digs. Which one of you is a dinosaur? Oh, yes, Rex is a dinosaur. I forgot about this. Well, that's absolutely really good. Okay, so yeah, your in-house synergy for this deck just gets even better. All right, I see that we have Grave of the Super Ancient Organisms, EVs on the side here. Fogo, can't cross the threshold with Fogo, but you have other things that you can actually make. This deck actually makes a tryhard. I might actually, like, cry, but okay. Next up here, we have more Sword Soul. This build decided that it wanted to get spicy today, and it wanted to play one Gamma Seal, one Kumamungus. I mean, okay, it makes sense. I mean, when you can start to challenge out some of these ratios here and see different lines of, you know, thought into what you can mess around with, I think that's fine at the end of the day. I do like the Book of Moons for the defensive options. We still have the one Synthona here, which is fine. See that we have the anti-scams in here as per usual. What else are we doing in here? See that we have good old Solemn Judgments for the God options. Yeah, I think you're just going to be boarding out a lot of your option trees that you're not going to need. Say you have a matchup, you don't need a Kaiju. You can go ahead and board in some, you know, better going first cards. Once again, depends on the matchup. But this deck has a lot of more flexible tech spots, and I'm honestly really used to seeing it at this point. So, good stuff to seeing the amount of diversity and things be present in this deck. Next up here, we have Trap Tricks. All right. Main deck and triple evenly matched, as you should be. All right. A lot of these variations out here trying to get saucy, not playing this. I feel like you're just detouring for really no reason, so that's fine. Dark Roll No Mores are an interesting inclusion in here, and that's not really something that I've seen all that much, which is kind of nice. We also have Book of Moons for defensive options, and we are siding the 30 King Regulus and the Borea with the one Disc Coliseum. And we're packing in Kaijus in here. This build is actually pretty optimized. I like what we're seeing. We're also playing the one Treacherous down here as well. I mean, you already have a relatively small trap lineup anyway, so setting up a Rafflesia to drop this, depending on, you know, the matchup for the better value, should get you into a pretty good spot. So I like what we're seeing. Not too bad. You gotta love the cool things that Trap Tricks can actually do. Then there's this thing. This is Mathmech Runick. You know, I'd heard rumors that something like this could actually exist, but your whole Mathmech combo in here has been stripped down. You're still doing the basic stuff, circular, just searches for the super factorial. That's all you need to do. You have Denko's Godarlas in the side. You have Super Ancient Organisms in the side. You have a little bit more of a stripped down of a version of the combo lines down here, but it all still works. And you can toggle with Laplace and Alan Bertian. I think that this is peak Runick content right here. The fact that you have just found a way to merge these engines and then get 8th place out of, you know, 500 plus people out here at a regional. To me, that's very impressive. And that in itself really gets a place just on top of the ladder for what you love to see. So good stuff. Next up here we have, what was this? This is 13th place, I believe. It was top 16, I know that. So this was like a Tier Elements Kashtira deck, aka we're just playing, you know, the Tier Elements Kashtira in here with some Fenrir's to search them. We're playing the remainder of our mill package as it has been greatly destroyed. We're still playing the one Triff Karma. Triff Karma actually is very, very solid for this deck. Definitely helps things along quite a lot. And, of course, we are side decking the one Crime. And, yeah, we are doing the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation antics because of the Emerald Turtle. I know a few people might not particularly like that all that much, but I think it does open up the door to a lot of extra combo lines that you might not normally want to do. Also, shout out here to Secret Village being such a stupid good card. Even to this point in time, the fact that, you know, you can splash in all these extra value cards in this deck, it is absolutely so awesome. And then the last list here, we have a top 64 plant list, sporting off the Rite of Armisia stuff, Sun Avalon stuff, no Rika. We're just doing standard Sun Avalon without like some of the extra like bulk. It's still a plant variation at the end of the day. See that we are setting a Divine Carnate in here. Whole extra deck looks very standard. We're only playing one Balancer, which is fine. One Donner. Yeah, this looks pretty straightforward. So, that is your regional breakdown here for Philly. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today with some more cool ass content. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.